If the black community especially, and I can't speak for them, but I'm going to speak for government. If the black communities of color, are relying on the federal government, are relying on left wing or right wing, anybody, if they're relying on that, you tell me how that's been going for the past 50 years.
Correct.
So my question is, and I think the debate's happening already in the black community, what does the black community do? It's like that famous quote by Malcolm X who said, if somebody throws you into a hole, don't expect the person who threw you into a hole to pull you out of the hole.
Right.
And I think that's as relevant as
So what do we do, Matt?
So what does the black community
I think unite and have a plan. I think, to be honest with you, the black community, our biggest, we're our own nemesis. Obviously police brutality is a huge thing, but I think the fact that we don't come united on any fronts, and this is not to speak down, but the Asian community, they have each other's back. The Jewish community have each other back. The Mexican community have each other back. That doesn't mean the whole time they were always agreeing or loving, so to speak, our community, our neighbors, our brothers, our sisters. But they understand that, you sacrifice this time now that, you're going to have you're going to be well off later. And I think the black community never really has unity. So to me, coming together first and foremost, you know what I mean? Just coming together, realizing that, hey, we're all in this fight together, and that's blacks first, but then everyone else who wants to follow us. I think that's great as well. But then having a plan, understanding voting. When we say vote, it's not just if everyone wants Trump out of the White House. It's not about getting Trump out of the White House, although I think that's important. But to me, it's voting on your local and state level, because that's where all the bills are created and passed, and people don't understand that. Understanding who your council members are, the mayors, and how important district attorneys are. District attorneys got their pockets wide open. Like you said, everyone has a hand to the police officers. There was a situation where I did the Stephon Clark rally in Sacramento 2 years ago when the cops shot him 8 times, 6 times in the back. No one was charged. But right before the Anne-Marie Schubert, the crooked DA in Sacramento, was supposed to make a ruling, she got a $400,000 donation from the Sac PD.
And I'm remiss because I always think of myself as up to date on stuff. I was talking to somebody who's involved in local politics. I came here and told you this. I felt like a white belt. I didn't know shit.
Yeah.
There's no excuse. I didn't know anything about it.
It's a lot.
It's tough.
It's a lot.
It's tough.
It'll take you years to learn.
Why? That's something. I eventually want to be mayor of my hometown, so I'm doing a lot of stuff in Sacramento, working with, bringing businesses there and working with the mayor and the police chief to kind of bridge the gap on certain projects. But, I just had an amazing meeting with a guy named Richard Green yesterday, and I had probably about 5 or 6, urban platform, people have big platforms in our urban space, and we're trying to teach, make politics fun, make it so people understand how important, and it's not so much about say, oh, I don't like politics, it's crooked, the Republicans and Democrats are everyone is, politics is nasty.
Yes.
You can't say Democrats are good and they always do good, or vice versa, whatever. It's all nasty in there, but be passionate about a cause, like something you're passionate about, like just vote for that, just register and vote for that cause, whatever you feel is near and dear to your heart, whatever touches you, because we can't make everyone want to vote for the president or want to vote for certain things, but I guarantee if everyone looks into the election and things that are up for debate and things that we have control over as a community, you can find a handful of things that you're passionate about and vote about those things.
Learn about them,
right? And then so that when you start with that, then you start learning more and understanding. Once you learn politics, it's very interesting and realizing how much power we do have, especially as the black community and minorities as a whole. If we all came together and understood how important it is. I love that we're marching and rallying. I didn't really like the burning down the buildings and looting and all that shit. But to me, we've been peacefully protesting. Cap took a knee. We've been putting our fist up peacefully for 400 years, and nothing happened. So for the first time now, the world finally hears us.
And,
So after now that they hear us, what is the next step?
What are you going to do now?
What's the plan? Yeah. Now we have to have a plan.
What happens after a revolution?
Right. You know what I mean? So for the first time, everyone has our attention. You see huge Fortune 500 companies saying stuff, donating money, and this is not the first black man that's been killed. This shit's been happening for a long time, but it's finally like the one, like you said, that was the cherry on top. Like we saw someone be executed in front of our own eyes, And even with that being said, there's still people that want to bring up his past and his upbringing, and he was
doesn't mean he has to be tortured and executed.
That doesn't give
not for $20.
You fucking kidding?
Not for $20, especially when you have these young white kids that are doing these mass shootings and are getting taken to Burger King.
A lot of those convictions people should know were also like, not that it matters at all, but they were cocaine convictions. A lot of times he had coke on him and stuff, so he had a drug problem.
None of that stuff matters.
Of course,
that's
fact. Well, to me, because what I was telling people was, you can be a vegan yogi, healthiest person in the world. If someone puts a knee on your neck for 9 minutes, you're gonna die. I don't give a fuck how healthy you are. If
Hey, let him wrestle with him. Have him grab
big
you.
old grizzly bear, yeah.
Just for give him 30 seconds and tell me
and
what
then on
happens.
top of that, how it's uncomfortable just to lay on your stomach. Period. You know what I mean?
Do it on the road.
On the ground.
And
with
you're
your
on
hands
fentanyl.
On the road.
behind you, and then you have it. But to me, it doesn't even matter.
I'm saying
In a
your body's
system,
all going through crazy
but
stuff
it's still,
too.
You're laying on the ground with, and then
Donated.
you have one guy on you, then two other guys on you.
Yeah, do
it's
that
just
sober and
tough.
see how you feel.
You know, it's just
I don't
tough in
think
general.
people realize too that the show you do all the smoke, which I think it's fair to say, and I go at internet trolls all the time with this. You guys literally have the biggest, by far, basketball show, and you want to just talk sports in general. It's up there, man. I was just talking to our boy Brian Daly about this the other day. I mean, your guys' show is so big, and your partner on that show, Steven Jackson Stacks. He was really close.
In the mix, yeah.
People don't realize they call Floyd
each other twin.
his twin.
Yeah, they look
and they
just
look
alike.
almost identical.
Yeah, I didn't know obviously the relationship they had until it had happened. And Jack and I have been speaking. Go ahead.
Because 2 weeks ago, I think he bought him like clothes and stuff like.
Well,
they
he
were
just
very
sends up a
close.
bunch of. I mean, we get so much stuff, and then we go through so much clothes. Like I have people I donate to all the time. So that was someone that Jack would just give. When we stuff we don't like or done wearing or something we don't really into. Donate to someone.
Here's
who
something
would
made
love
for
it.
a 6'7".
Right. I mean, it's hard to give it away. So that was come to find out that was Jack's brother, and it was. I've just been so proud of him because, I've been in this space, this social justice space, speaking up on it for a long time, and it really weighs on you. But he really jumped in the middle of a frying pan. Like this, like you said, this is a revolution. You know what I mean? And he's at the forefront of it, speaking on it, bringing people together, consoling the family, doing everything he absolutely can with this platform to bring attention to this.
Bring up his Instagram for me, Chin.
And it's draining. I hit him the other day. It's just like, you can't let this consume you. Make sure you're getting rest, getting some sleep, smoking, turning off your electronics, and just taking time for you, because this hurts. You know what I mean? Like,
It's a
I don't
lot.
care what color you are. Like, you're feeling what's going on right now. And I've been on
heavy.
top of it.
Mainly,
And
I get. For me, I feel like I can't. I
anxiety.
can't do anything.
Yeah, and
I
there's
don't like
not
being able
much
to fix
anybody can do.
anything.
There's not much anybody can do. But just it got to a point where I was on top of it. I was posting all the police brutality stuff and all the
But
negativity.
you've
And I
been
had
on this.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people are jumping on it now,
Right.
which it's good. They're coming around, but
Right.
you've been on this for a while.
Yeah, but I mean, to the point, like I had to erase all the stuff that I was posting just because I was just tired of just seeing negativity. Like it just hurts
I
and
know.
it wears you out.
I want to ask you this because I've been reading a lot about.
Let me go. There's a picture of Stacks though where he has Floyd's baby girl on his shoulders.
Yeah, she said it's going to change the world.
Dude,
Yeah, that's
if that
I saw
doesn't
that one.
connect you, hit you where it hurts, man.
Mm-hmm. Daddy
Dude.
changed the world.
If that doesn't do something to you,
Right.
you're a sociopath.
Yeah, no, it's
That's his daughter. It's outside the protest.
He did what?
Daddy changed the world. That's right, Daddy.
Let me ask you this, man. I've been listening to a lot of black scholars and reading. Larry Elders, Thomas Sowell. I listen to Candace Owens is got some stuff to say for sure. She's just so
There's some points,
She's
but
just so strong about her point of view that it's like. But listen, I still think she's a valid voice. And one of the things that I never fucking hear CNN talk about and people talk about, I can't say anything, but there are certain issues within any community and any culture that work then and don't work now. And one of the things that Larry Elders said, which I thought was kind of hit me, and I was like, damn, is he said, in the 1960s, a black child was 80% likely to be born to a two-parent household. Today, it's reversed.
I can imagine.
And when that happens, when a child's born to a single mother, you have a 5%, you're 5 times more likely to be under the poverty line. You're 9 times more likely to end up in jail. You're 20 times more likely. I mean, the stats are so fucking clear.
Staggering, yeah.
I don't hear CNN and places like that talking enough about that, which as Candace Owens, Larry Elders, Thomas Sowell said, if you want to talk about marchers, these dumbass racists in Charlottesville, they're always there. They're there. She said that's a far less. I'm way less worried about those dum-dums because there are 25 of them. They may be a bunch, but I'm more worried about that situation over there.
one.
And those are the things that I think about, and I go, why is nobody talk? We got to talk about that. Not because it's a criticism, or anything, just because that makes sense to me. It's much easier to have two, but you and I have kids. We have kids about the same age. You know how much you have to rely on on
Right.
mom, but how much the kids rely
Right.
on you.
But still, at the same time, I'm a single dad, but I'm just very involved. Like I'm in my kids' lives, and I think you bring up a great point for not only the black community, but community as all. When you're born to just one parent and another parent's not involved, you're going to be behind.
That's a white problem too, by the way.
That's what I'm saying.
Very
It's all a
important.
problem, and then people want to quick to say, well, there's the black on black crime is a majority problem. You interact with people in your community. So if your whole community is black, when you have mix-ups in communities and you kill each other, it's going to be that. The same thing in the white community. When you have mix-up in the white community, that's who you're around. That's who you're going to end up killing. That's Mexicans and so on and so forth. But, there's definitely, it goes to say, it's deeper. Like we're always seeing the end result, we're seeing the killings and everything, but it's obviously a deeper root.
We're dealing with the wreckage of our past here.
Right. You know what I mean? And like you said, for any black people to think that we're getting reparations is crazy. They're not handing us shit. We have to come out with the plan and do it ourselves, and I think what we have is when we unite and understand and have one voice, people understand that we have the same turnout in November that from the minority community that there was when Obama was elected president, that Trump will get blown out of the water. And people don't realize that. You know what I mean? If we really come together and go out there and vote, that we can get Trump out of the White House if that's what people's goals are. But like I said, we've just kind of always been on islands and never united.
But is that the goal, Matt? You think if you get Trump out, things
so
are
to me,
change?
the whole thing with me is, people
Biden's
don't
the
understand
answer?
because people don't understand the ordinance of power. Obama, Trump, presidents don't have that much power. It's the Supreme Court.
exactly
and people
right.
don't understand that.
Very
like
good point.
The presidents rarely, like when Trump says he's going to do stuff, people kind of look crazy because if he doesn't have that kind of power.
They
and
all
people
complain about it
People
later on.
still go crazy.
Yes.
But if you understand and study up, he can only do so much. The president, they're not the most, Mitch McConnell's the most powerful man in the world.
That's right.
You know what I mean? People don't understand how things go. So it's not so much that Trump is the like this is happening because of him. I'm just from a point of you spew too much hate. You could have been great.
Divided.
He's just not a
more
unifier.
divided
He's
than
just not a
ever.
unifier.
You can be
That's
great
my
at
issue.
bringing the economy back and doing things here and there, but to me, I face so much racism going up, and I think the state of our country has built on hate. So when you're someone that won't come out and necessarily say the N-word or this or that, but you use dog whistle terms, or back in the day, I would knock them out or carry them on the stretcher, or the good old days. Like, to me, your rhetoric is talking right to those people that hate us.
Correct.
That you're dog whistling those people. So I don't care how great he's been on any of the other fronts. We just need someone in there that's not going to spew hate.
And
We need to
divide the
bring right.
nation.
We're more divided now than we've
I feel
ever
the
been. And
same.
it's unfortunate because
You're talking about the black community or the country?
I think
country in
America's more
general,
divided
the
than
country
ever
in
before. That's what I
general
think.
is divided. The black community has somewhat
teams.
always been divided. You know what I mean? So that's our
I was going to
biggest
say
thing
it's
moving
important to
forward.
remember that when you say black community, look, West Indian blacks are very different than Nigerian blacks, are very different than Igbo and Yoruba blacks, are very different than a black guy, a black family from Mississippi that's super religious is, believe me, very different than a black doctor's family in New York. It's very different. So that's why the black vote, when people say that stuff, and I talk about this in my last special, it's all over the fucking place. If you go to Africa, there's such a difference between, go tell somebody who's Sudanese that he's like somebody who's from Ethiopia and they border the same country.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
There's
See what
so
happens.
much. There's a lot of, and
Such variation.
there's a lot of internal hate too from all races, but particularly some on the black, because we struggle with colorism.
Oh my God.
Darker people don't like lighter. Sometimes they say lighter people think they're better than darker, and like at the end of the day, like we're all, first of all, human, but we're all a different color than you. You know what I mean? So why not? And when I say us, it's even, there's tension between, the Mexicans and blacks. You know what I mean?
100%.
But we get treated the worst. So
Tribal.
imagine us coming together. Like, okay, we have a consistent. We come together. Let's try to come together and, come together and really fight the real enemy. Let's fight racism. To me, it's everybody versus racism, because not all. I'm half Italian and black. Like I don't claim to
It's a good
hate.
combo.
Right, I don't.
Your
claim
mom
to-
was Italian,
full
right?
Italian.
So when
yeah.
you say
There you
you're
go.
facing a lot of racism, I'm sure you get it from both sides, right?
See, I was
'Cause-
never white enough and I was never black enough. You know what I mean? I was never dark enough and my hair looked like this. So you're not, I get from black people like, what are you? Like everyone thought I was Mexican for the longest
Girls
time,
hate.
you know?
Girls hate.
Tell me about
girls
it.
hate when you're 6'7" with that hair. Hate that though.
No, and
was
then-
it hard
and-
for you not
right.
getting dates?
It was
Yeah.
tough.
This right now.
Yeah.
Watch your tone.
Okay. What's going to happen? What are you going to do? Use some of that boxing you've been doing?
Don't you fucking disrespect.